If there is one thing I'm always on time for, it is to get my playoff predictions out. I mean, any sort of predictions. My NFL ones were on time, my NBA ones were on time. Put them together, now we have the NFL playoff one. Who are my favorite teams? What are we thinking? What are you guys thinking? Comment down below your Super Bowl favorites right now, and I'll let you know mine pretty soon. As always, the camera slap gets us farther ado. Wait, let me go. Boop. Now I'm up here, right? So, we have this on the screen, right? What are we looking at? We're looking at the wild card round. The wild card round is full of joyous teams, full of interesting teams, some that I really don't give a rat's butt about, like the Jaguars and the Patriots. And quite frankly, the Panthers are just three teams that don't intrigue me, don't interest me. Do I think they're all going to lose? That's for us to decide right now. Let's start with the first game, Texans versus Steelers. Would it be messed up to say that the Texans just seems their defense is so much better than the Steelers offense? And although the Steelers have been working without DK for the last 2-3 weeks, I just don't see an outcome where the Texans lose this matchup, to be honest. The Steelers would really have to get their run game on the ground, and their passing game would have to be superb to get past Lassiter and Stingley and even Petrie. So could it happen? Yes. Will it happen? I really, really don't think so. And obviously, when I say could it happen, I'm just telling you nothing, right? Like, anything could happen. Bills, Jags. I'm biased, right? I'm a Josh Allen fanboy. I love Josh Allen. One of my favorite players in the league. What else is there to not love? But Josh Allen has a fair amount of haters. They'll tell you he robbed his MVP. They'll tell you he's not that good. They'll tell you his hero ball doesn't always work. But we have watched the playoffs educated NFL plans, and his hero ball does work a lot. Now, the Jaguars have been slinging it. Even during their blowout wins, they've been slinging it lately. That could be the downfall of him, and it could be the upbringing. Trevor's been playing like God lately. And when we talk about Trevor Lawrence, we have to remind ourselves that they're not the same team they were in the first half of the season. Jacoby Myers has made that offense look 10 times better. And that's the truth of it, right? Ever since Jacoby got traded, Trevor's had a reliable guy, a guy you can go to on third down, a guy that might be open up the seam, open down the slant. He can do it all, it seems like, for the Jags, and it's been a big part of elevating the squad to where it needs to be, especially to win the AFC South, which was harder than it might seem this year. I mean, the Colts started off very great, then the Texans started racking up wins, but the Jaguars kept their foot on the pedal, and that was very important. You look at this Bills side, right? O-line's been playing bad, not very bad, and that Texans game was a big show of that. But although I think the Jags D line is good, they don't have a Will Anderson, they don't have a Danielle Hunter to really get to Josh Allen every single time. The Bills, they're good off in that run game where they have James Cook on one side, Josh on the other, and that's really hard to beat from a standpoint of who are we going to guard, who are we going to put ourselves up against, who are we going to choose on these option plays. But I think the phrase of the week is for the Bills is Josh Allen hero ball. Can he put the team on his back? He's throwing to Brandon Cooks, Khalil Shakir, and Shavers, right? Like, it's not the best room in the world. And Dawson Knox has been better, and Dalton Kincaid can be better, but they're not right now. So we really have to think that through, right? And honestly, I lean towards the Jaguars, right? And if I had to put money on it, I'd never bet against Josh. So I'm going to pick Josh here, but I am leaning towards the Jags. I do see a real chance where the Jaguars just win this game. They are the better team on paper. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Jags win, but I'm going to pick the Bills here. You don't doubt Josh Allen in the playoffs. He is the king of beating anyone who's not Mahomes. Mahomes isn't here now. So we'll see how that goes for him. Chargers, Patriots. I am on brand a Justin Herbert hater. I am on paper a Justin Herbert hater, but to call this year his fault would be unfair. Do I think that game against the Eagles, he got bailed out by his defense? Yes. And that is the most recent game of Herbert I've watched all the way through. Obviously, I've seen a lot of highlights of Herbert. I've seen a lot of the film on Herbert. Now with NFL Pro, no sponsor, I watch a lot more film than I ever have in my whole life. And that game didn't exactly impress me, and I think he took a lot of sacks, But Herbert's obviously a good top 10 quarterback. I will not put him in the top 5 conversation, but he's a good top 10 quarterback, and we might see his first playoff win today, right? Or this week, should I say. But that O-line is so horrible. And, the receiving room has been underwhelming. I mean, everyone's been all right, but no one's been excellent. And, everyone's good, right? It's like an upgraded version of the Packers room where you have a bunch of guys who could be ones, right? Like Keenan Allen was a one, Ladd was a one last year. Quentin Johnson played like a one for 7 weeks, right? And it's kind of opposite from the Packers room where you have guys who are twos and threes and some fours. Like, I don't know how many teams Malik Heath's starting on, but he's sometimes a three on this Packers squad. And Bo Melton, right? Players like that. But the Patriots, on the other hand, we all see the stat, right? 1-2 against teams above 500. And it's true, right? You got to take it with a grain of salt. Mick Vrabel has coached a great team here. Don't get it wrong. But you look at the roster and you're like, dang, they don't have a lot of players. Off the top of my head, Henderson, Campbell, May, Hollins, Booty, Diggs. Why am I having such a hard time naming their own line? Maybe it's because it's not that good. They release Cole Strange, you know what I'm saying? And that's just on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, we're playing with a lot of Jags on other teams, just a guy. So we really have to think about it like that. It's a team that was formed really well, who honestly blew the 1 seed by blowing a lead to the Bills. It's a hard place to be, right? Drake Maye's in his second year. We've compared this guy to Herbert enough. Does Herbert finally get his first win in years of playing this sport? I want to say yes. It's a really hard thing to pick. To a point, you want to say that Herbert's going to get this win. The defense, I think, has been phenomenal this year for the Chargers. Very underrated. Keeping them in a lot of these games. Keeping good opponents to low points. I just don't think the Patriots have it. I don't. I know my friends. I don't even know if he watches my videos, to be honest. I got a big Charger fan friend. He's going to feel some type of way. He's going to be like, wow, he really picked the Chargers. And then he's going to be like, okay, he picked the Chargers. That's kind of cool. But I've done my fair share of shit talking Herbert. I've burned that Chargers bridge. I'm not trying to hop on. Trust me, I'm not trying to hop on. But I do think this is going to be Herbert's first playoff win if I have to put my money anywhere. So that's what I'll do. On the NFC side, I'm going to make this one nice and easy for you Panthers fans. I know you did it already. And, I like to doubt you guys. And I like to say, oh, they suck. But you have beat this team already. And they have been playing poorly. I wasn't convinced about that Cardinals Week 18 win till the third quarter. And that's not a good place to be at. The Cardinals aren't a good team. As you can see on the right side of my screen, they're the worst team in the NFC. And you struggled very hardly against them. So I don't like to see that. But Mike Wilson has been a dog lately. So I take it with a grain of salt with that too. You haven't had Tay lately, and it's obviously lowered the offensive field. Stafford, you can stat Padford your way into Week 18, but we saw that Falcons game. You did not look good. Your defense looked all right. Chris Shula seems to be losing jobs every week, to be honest, but I still think he's going to get a fair amount of interviews. Do I think the Rams are going to blow by the Panthers? Honestly, no. The Panthers strike where the Rams are weak. It's the inside of the field. The Panthers beat them on some good running. And that's how they beat the Packers. And I believe they're getting Robert Hunt back this week, that guard they overpaid heavily. But obviously without him, the run game has been not there. I think last time they played this game, they didn't have Horns. So what y'all trying to do? Maybe there's a chance the Panthers win. The spread is plus 10.5. I kind of think that's disrespectful. I think I do 8, but it might not be disrespectful. It might legitimately be what we saw last year with Rams versus Vikings. Just a well, BTA, you know what I'm saying? But up next. Oh, dear 49ers, please take this win. But if I had to pick one, we're going to make it short and simple. I'd pick the Eagles. On one side of the ball, talented roster. Not a lot of injuries. Jalen Carter, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Lander Dickerson, Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Jordan Mailata, not going to name Jalen Hunt, but Jordan Phillips, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, you get the deal. Zach Bond, Jake Elliott, you get the deal. These guys are talented. Do they play like it all the time? No. But sometimes, kind of like last year's wildcard game, the Eagles kind of played possum, and you thought, Damn, that Packers game looked bad. Maybe the Rams are just going to beat them and then boom, Saquon gets going. Do I think Saquon's going to get going now? It's hard to say. He looks like a shell of himself. But do I think it's good enough to beat a Niners team who just went through their third linebacker this year and now they're employing, I can't get it off the top of my head. It's one of the Dallas's old, like Kaiser White, or sorry, Arizona's old linebackers, Kaiser White. And unfortunately, I would love the Niners to win this game. As a Giants fan, I would love the Niners to win this game. But unfortunately, the health is just such an issue. You don't have Bosa. Pearsall's not practicing. Trent's not looking upwards. Kittle is still fatigued. You're going to get McCaffrey on 500 touches this season. It's just like, man, it sucks for this wonderful season for the Niners where they proved everyone wrong, where it was like, oh, the Niners are finally falling off. They're going to lose us. They're going to be bad this season. And they still got 12 wins. Credit to Kyle Shanahan and credit to Robert Saleh. It's just impressive is the word you have to use to describe the 49ers this season. It is an impressive feat to be this far into the season still. And I assume Robert Saleh, which he already has been getting head coach job offers. Do I think what happened in New York is his fault? No. I really don't. I think it's Aaron Rodgers' fault. I think that's what happens when you come in with a giant ego and think you're still the guy you were 2 years ago at the time. It seems like he's really calmed down from that on Pittsburgh. That's why they're here in the playoffs. But I digress. I think Philly's going to have to take this one. It's an unfortunate truce. Bears and Packers. Interesting Bears and Packers. You love to see this matchup. It's just like you love to see the Niners and Eagles, and you love to see scrappy teams like the Texans and Steelers play because you know there's going to be some drama in these games. Bears and Packers. My Caleb believer, no. My love believer, yes. So I wouldn't say that answers the question right there. Obviously, no Parsons, no Kraft. The list doesn't go on anymore because I think they're getting Zach Tom back for this game, and I believe they are getting Williams back. Are those the biggest players in the world? No, but they do help this team, and I don't know what to say about the Bears, man. They just don't seem clutch. I think the Bears are a team that benefited from a Ben Johnson system, a system that makes Caleb look a bit better than he is. Does Caleb have a lot of potential? Of course. Just it looks like it's going to take him a really long time to get there. I'm going to say the Packers. If there's one game you got to win as the Packers, it's got to be this one. Divisional round. How fun, divisional round. We get to go off this now. That is a tough game, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news for a Josh Allen guy myself. The Texans dominated you last time. They dominated you. They slapped you silly. Even when you had chances to win the game, even when you had a crazy hook and ladder, Josh Allen then goes and throws that pick in the fourth, which didn't look good. Texans might get it done, and I think the Texans just profit on that D-line against the Bills. We literally saw it already. We have seen it, and the Bills haven't looked much better since that week, to be honest. And on below, Broncos just seem to keep finding ways to win. The Broncos do just keep finding ways to win, and it is what it is. Do I think the Chargers have a good chance of winning this game? Maybe. That's my honest answer. Maybe, right? You just don't know with the Chargers. And Justin Herbert can pull off some miracles, and he does seem to hate the rest of the AFC West. I never see him shaking hands. I never see him talking. So there's a good chance, Chargers fans, especially against a division rival like this. But I just think the Broncos are going to edge it out with that extra week of break. They're already so much more healthier than the Chargers, and with the extra week of rest, you get even more healthier, especially because the Chargers just rested their players week 18. They might be cold. They might be feeling the cold, or they might feel better than ever. Who knows? The extra week of rest works in its magical ways. Sometimes it's to the benefactor, and sometimes it's to the benefactor. I don't know how to say it. This side. Do the Eagles have all the talent in the world to beat the Rams? Yes. Did the Rams have to play the Eagles in the snow last year? Yes. And Saquon ripped it off. Until farther notice, the Eagles run game owns the Rams until they don't play in snow. And this is where I'm picking the Rams to beat the Eagles. Quinion Mitchell's going to be forcing our Puka or Tay. We're going to have to see it. Did the Eagles win this matchup this year? Yes. But did they win it off a blocked field goal? Yes. Remember that. They won it off a blocked field goal. It wasn't complete skill. Jalen Hurts threw 0 yards in one of the halves of that game. It just doesn't impress me. Now, is Jalen Hurts a playoff stepper? Yes. Quite frankly, yes. He is a playoff man. He plays like an angry man in the playoffs, and that's what he does. But I just think this Rams team's coached better. I think Sirianni sucks. I think Patullo sucks more. And Vic Fangio is actually not that bad. I've had my reserve about Vic Fangio, and I've had my doubts. But, hands up, Vic Fangio has been pretty good. Especially with the lack of defensive line talent he's had throughout the season besides Carter. Seahawks, Packers. Ooh, a tale as old as time. Wouldn't it be funny to see the Packers beat the Seahawks? No. It would, actually. But I just don't think it's possible with this Packers roster. I think the Seahawks might obliterate them with no Parsons, no Kraft. I mean, this guy's throwing to frickin' Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs. This guy's name's Romeo, dude. Like, it's just the unfortunate truth. Sam Darnold and friends have been murdering teams. Obviously, they did struggle a little against the Niners. They still had their way in the run game, but they struggled a little to finish drives. I don't think that's going to happen against the Packers. We just saw the Packers against Derrick Henry, and it didn't look good. Not saying Kenneth Walker's Derrick Henry, but Zach Charbonnet's got a couple pounds to him. You know, he might be able to run through a couple of you. So, that's where it is. Broncos, Texans, Rams, Seahawks. How funny. These are hard choices, right? Because on one hand, you know, none of these teams on a usual Mahomes year and a usual, like last year's, like the last year's Eagles, I think would kill all these teams, right? And the Chiefs before that year, I think would murder a lot of these teams too. So I wouldn't say it's the most talented year in the world, but 2D, this could be a 3-10 game. This could be 17-14, right? And it's just like, I feel like it's a flip of the coin. Because can Bo Nix get away from Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson for that much time? Can Cortland Sutton get away from Derek Stingley, right? And, you know, what pains me to say about the Broncos is they don't have a 2 that's so reliable where it's like, yeah, who are we going to have exploit the second side? Because, you know, Jalen Petrie, I think, plays in the slot more, and Kamari Lassiter plays over top, which has been huge. Dare I say the Broncos aren't talented enough to win this game? Can we see a Texans Super Bowl run? We might just, you know. Obviously, with the way my bracket goes, it could be one thing. You know, another team wins a game, everything changes. And on the other side, what is there? Been a +2 point differential in this game. They've played 2 games this season. There's been, I think, 2 point difference on the side. Oof. Does it go to experience? Am I going to give it to experience? Am I going to say the Rams were here last year and they almost beat the Super Bowl winning Eagles and they look better this year somehow than they did last year? Or am I going to say the Seahawks' offensive firepower is too much? You know, I think a big part of that Rams game was their special teams sold them. They fired that guy. They fired him. I think the Rams get their get back. I think they do. Rams versus Texans Super Bowl. This would be interesting to say. And can we see Houston? I'm sorry. Can we see? Let me actually call my friend real quick. Can we see Houston get a Super Bowl for the first time ever? Let's see if he answers. See if he answers. We'll see who answers, who doesn't. Yo, I'm filming right now. Can we see Houston win a Super Bowl?
Not win it, but make it, yeah.
And you think they'd play you guys or the Rams?
Oh, if they play us, they could definitely win it. But I don't think if they play a team like the Rams, I don't think so.
All right, that was a lot of filming. Anyway, my pick is the Rams to win the Super Bowl, but I really wouldn't be surprised if the Texans did it. And if you want to see more videos, just keep liking, keep commenting. I actually already have a second video. Can you guys believe that? I already have a second video filmed with 2 people. It's a different type of video. So without further ado, let it crew. Actually, let me not steal that.